Hello and welcome back to Down the Track. Today we'll be reviewing the T20 between West Indies and Sri Lanka. It was the series was tied at 1-1. Where Sri Lanka won the toss, elected to bat first, and they lost wickets early. West Indies bowled really well. Fabian started the breakthrough with the first wicket, and then it was a remarkable cotton bowled. And after that, Jason Holder bowled pretty well. Sinclair was good with the ball, and so Pollard came in. He was a bit tight. McCoy, Dwayne Bravo, everyone contributed, and not necessarily with wickets, but the economy rate was always under the 7-8 mark. Apart from Sinclair, he was a bit expensive, but I think they bowled pretty well. Fabian Allen in particular, 4 overs, 13 runs, 1 wicket, incredible bowling, economy rate of just 3.25. And we'll get to him a bit later on because he played a major part in this game. But yeah, Sri Lanka batting first, they'll be very disappointed to lose that many wickets in the power play because yes, it was a slowish pitch. It wasn't as flat as expected, and probably 150, 160 would have been a really good score, excellent score to defend. But they only managed to get 131, and that's because they lost so many wickets in the power play. When you lose 3 to 4 wickets, it becomes very difficult because you need the other batsman to come and rotate the strike. Even though that's the time where you slowly start to accelerate, and they started consuming dot balls, and not the likes of Chandimal and Bandara. It wasn't, they actually batted really well, but they had to consume the dot balls, make sure they didn't lose any wickets, and then accelerate from there. But by the time they accelerated, it was a bit late, and not too much of their fault. They probably needed support from someone in the top 3, even if they just anchored like one of the opening batsmen. If they came in and just hit like 40 of 30 balls, and set the platform for the middle order, they could have easily got 160, 170, which could have been match winning. But it wasn't the case. The 132 to win for West Indies. And this is where you saw where the opening batsmen are important. Simmons and Lewis both scoring 20 odd runs. Their strike rate was like 116 for Lewis and 144 for Simmons. So strike rate wasn't that high, but it's, scoring those runs, giving that start. And it wasn't a big target to chase. So they're playing according to the run rate. They're always ahead or on par with the run rate. And once you set the platform, then they also lost wickets, West Indies. But because they had a platform, they could launch in the end. To be honest, Sri Lanka came back into the game really well. They were like 50 for 1 West Indies, and then 95 for 5, 4 for 75 before that. So at one stage they're 105 for 7 West Indies. So Sri Lanka came back well. The medium pacers, I think Chamira was really good. He picked up a couple of wickets. Sandakan was good. He got hit for a couple of sixes, but 3 wickets, very important. I think he bowled pretty well. And he kept Sri Lanka in the game, picked up the wicket of Gale with his, cleaned them up with those left-arm spinners. It's not easy to bowl to the left-handers there. Nicholas Pooran came, hit a few good shots, but then Chamira got him bowled with an excellent delivery coming in. So Sri Lanka kept fighting, but it was just they were too short on runs. I think they didn't make life easy for the West Indian batsmen. They fought till the end, but they'd be disappointed not to have that extra 20 runs, which their batsmen could have really scored if they just had stayed in the power play. You need wickets, and West Indies showed that. They also slipped, but they won with the over remaining, so they could have got to that 150 mark if they were batting first, the West Indies, and that's because the openers stood there. But yeah, it wasn't an easy pitch, conducive to the spinners. Sri Lanka's spinners were very impressive this series. They banked on them, and they did return with some really good figures. West Indies, on the other hand, they're a powerhouse unit. They have 3 brilliant all-rounders in Pollard, Bravo, and Jason Holder, and versatile all-rounders. All have different kind of abilities with the ball and bat. They look similar because they're medium pace all-rounders, but they have different set of skills. I think Jason Holder is a great find. I think his IPL performances and then his performance in the Big Bash show that he is also a T20 player. Otherwise, normally they would just pick him for test matches. But I think limited overs, Jason Holder is an extremely useful player. He's a proper cricketing batsman. He can play the big shots, and then bowling, he's very accurate. He's improved his variations as well, so he's not that easy to hit. And yeah, I think they have some really good talent with the bat. Also, Lewis and Simmons, they're experienced pair now. Both can provide the starts. Gale batting at 1 down. Interesting. They did that. He did that in Punjab. So maybe West Indies are also using that formula. And Chris Gale is the type of guy he can take the game away from any team. So heading into the T20 World Cup, I think this top 3 looks good. Gale will, I don't know how long he's going to play, but right now he's still I'm sure he can hit those sixes, so there's no issue with that. And then with Pollard, Pooran, Jason Holder in the middle order, with Rovman Powell and Bravo to come after that, I think it's a very power-packed batting lineup. Andre Russell is still waiting in the wings. He needs to get back into form. Once he starts getting back into the form, we saw what he did in 2016 World Cup. So Andre Russell is also a great asset to have in the T20 World Cup. I would have him in my squad, and hopefully he can get back into form for West Indies. Sri Lanka, on the other hand, they'll need to work on their opening pair. They'll need to work on their top 4, top 5 batting order. Angelo Matthews, he needs to come up big with the bat, especially. Like, we've seen him in test matches score some crucial runs with the bat. He needs to be a bit more aggressive, and needs some support as well in the top order. Sri Lanka, their bowling, the spinners are really good. Fast bowlers also, there's Chamira is very impressive. They have talent there, but they need to work on that. They need to be more consistent. The more games they play, the better for Sri Lanka, because they are a young team, a bit inexperienced, and in Indian conditions they can actually cause problems for other teams. But it's that, right? Even if your bowlers bowl brilliantly, you need your batsmen to put some runs on the board. Otherwise, your bowlers don't have runs to play with. So they will need to improve their batting lineup. Hopefully, they'll find some youngsters. They can back some other experienced players who can come up and be consistent. I think that's the key for them. But yeah, I think this was a good series to have with the World Cup coming this year for both teams. They know where they stand, kind of. They know where they can improve. West Indies as well will need to improve in their middle order batting, and they need to be more consistent with the ball. There's a few times in death overs where they've leaked runs, so they'll want to work on that. Playing spin, I think they struggled a bit against spin especially in the last 2 T20s. So they'll want to improve that, especially when you're playing in India. In India, you'll have other Asian teams as well: India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, along with Sri Lanka and Bangladesh as well. So these teams will, they'll try to exploit that in this West Indies lineup, the bowling spin. So they'll want to fix that. They have the power hitters. They have some great players. Pollard plays in the IPL. Andre Russell plays. Nicholas Pooran plays. So Chris Gale. All these guys play in the IPL. They know what the pitches are like in India. So I'm sure they will improve, and that's one thing they'll want to really work on. But apart from that, I think a really good series win for West Indies. It was competitive, it wasn't one-sided, and they would have, it's good that there were a few weaknesses there. Now they know what they can work on. It's always good to learn from that. And yeah, I think a great series. Now looking forward to the one-day series. Thank you so much for joining us. Hope you enjoyed the review. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share the video, and take care, and stay in touch for the latest cricketing content. Thank you.